Today we're going to be talking about the 3 pillars of gym marketing. We happen to be in the middle of our Ambassador Boot Camp right now. And our Ambassador Boot Camp is a 5-day intensive learning, basically training camp, where we bring our guys who have recently purchased or come onto the team, come onto the family of strength camp. We're having over 16 here right now at the moment. I think actually 17. So we're in the middle of teaching it. It's Wednesday. We want to be able to start this show a little bit earlier so we can get back and start to support those guys a little bit more. We've been at it, from 9 to 5 basically every single day. One of the lessons that we discussed yesterday was the 3 pillars of gym marketing. And we figured, after touching on that, there was a lot of gems that we were able to drop. And we just wanted to kind of give you guys an overview for this show. And maybe what we could do is kind of discuss the come up and how it's changed. Because obviously gym marketing, 10 years ago is completely different than how we operate gym marketing now. It's going to be different 10 years from now, but there's some underlying principles.
Principles, baby.
Absolutely. And maybe we can start to discuss those. So I kind of opened mine up with the metaphor that my father gave me. And really what it comes down to is when I was a kid and he taught me how to fish, he basically, anytime we went to a new place that we were unfamiliar with, I would see my dad get started and he would throw one pole in the water and have one particular bait. And then he would essentially have another pole that he starts setting up with maybe an artificial lure. And then maybe he might do some kind of cut bait or a little, bait fish that he caught and throw that out as well. So he would have 3 different types of bait because it's saying, I'm not familiar with this area. Obviously you could look at the landscape and say, I'm guessing this is what could be biting here. But if you're unfamiliar, he throws out 3 different kinds and kind of sees how the weather is, the time of the year, and sees what's biting. And if you equate that to marketing, you want to have 3 poles in the water at all time to catch 3 different types of people or have 3 different lead sources. So we like to break ours down into online, offline, and in-house. And basically we could just go down the realm. And I think, I'll come off and say that a lot of guys want to focus on online now. Offline is not the sexiest. It's kind of the roll your sleeves up, the old methods of doing things. And then really to me, some of the best is in-house because that shows that you're building an amazing community. So to start at the top, we can essentially go to online. Online marketing is how I became your client. Right now, a lot of us, what we're doing is going through Facebook methods and creating opt-in pages. So people, we give them an offer. It's direct response marketing. We call to action, get them to offer, and then they send us their email information and phone number and name, and we contact them. But it was a lot different when you were doing things. So you want to touch on that?
Well, I'm not sure it was very different, minus the social media aspect of things. Right. So I was building websites. Look, different meaning harder. Principles the same. I had to put a lot more effort into it. So I was building HTML websites. The website that you found me on, I built that with code. Right. And at that time, there was no social media, but Google was still, there was less competition because the internet was kind of like a new age thing. The generation that's coming up right now grew up with the internet, but there was, most of the people my age didn't know how to use the internet. They were using the internet for marketing and stuff like that. But the principles that I was following work exactly as they work today. Yes. So regardless of what kind of online marketing you're doing, and Chris is gonna go through all the myriad of different ways and tactics we shared with our ambassadors, one thing for sure, one thing that is always present in your marketing as a powerful tactic is very good copy. What you're writing on your website. A lot of you guys have been disenchanted or hypnotized by imagery. So the colors, how it has to look, the pictures, how it has to look, the right font. Bro, my website was ugly as fuck. It was black and white, but the words captured the attention and took people on a path towards showing up at my gym.
Right.
That's the key component.
And it was educational. If there's one thing that I remember me for myself as being a young college football player, what I was looking for, you had to obviously speak the right language to catch the right critter, as you like to say. And you knew exactly who you were going for. When I looked at that website, now obviously I think you had multiple pages for different people. So if you wanted, you had your men's class, that was for older men, that was completely different than that page. And I just remember being educated as I read yours and was like, how do I sign up? How do I sign up? I was sold before I even got there. And that's why we talk about when it comes to marketing, you should think 75% to 25% sale. They should be sold 75% through your marketing. I was. That's a perfect example.
Did you say 25%?
25% should be the sale. 75% of your efforts is the marketing.
It's the marketing. Yeah, I want you to show up already sold.
Already sold. By the time I set foot in the door, I was already sold. There wasn't a process where you had to sell me and really force it down my throat. You didn't have to overcome any kind of bias in me. It was already, I was already sold on it. And that was simply through you educating me and then obviously having a call to action to get me to come out to where you were at. And I was an hour away.
That's a great point. Your website should teach people how to do business with you. So as you're educating, you're also educating them as to how we do things around here and how you're supposed to show up when you come. Giving people very clear directions on how to be a client or a customer before you even get there basically already indoctrinates them into the process of things. They already feel like they're a part of what you're doing by you creating contrast between who this is for and who this is not for, and this is for you because this is what you do. I'm basically telling you what to do. Right.
Absolutely, 100%. And just to touch on online marketing, for us right now, and one awesome benefit that we give to our Strength Camp ambassadors, we're fortunate enough to have a media team here and headed by Danny Gary, which obviously is behind the scenes operating everything. But, he's one who's been able to be a magician behind the scenes, pulling strings within the Facebook, realm as far as paid ads. Paid ads right now are one of the huge revenue sources. In fact, we've actually sent one of our ambassadors last month 92 leads online alone. Which, if you have 92 leads in 1 month, I mean, some people don't get that in a year.
That's a big part of why you become a Strength Camp ambassador. Besides being bought into our vision and our mission and the Strength Camp method, it's very seamless to get your business up and running because we are supporting you with all the leads through our own marketing. You don't have to do a lot of this stuff. It's great to learn this stuff and to be self-empowered, and that's why we teach them and we teach you, but we've got it set up in such a way that we just deliver you the leads. It's like being at a fitness gym. When you're at a fitness gym and they give you the list of leads that you can go and perhaps close for your as a personal trainer. We doing that for you. So you can focus on what you do best, which is train your clients, coach your clients, help them become a stronger version of yourself. You don't have to worry about all this marketing stuff.
Absolutely. And beyond that, one thing that he was able to speak on yesterday and that he was able to touch on is obviously getting, going where the people are at, in Instagram and Facebook, depending on where you're at. And what demographic you're shooting for. For us, we know Instagram and Facebook is huge right now. And he gave them tactics outside of us just sending them leads and running paid ads that you guys can start to do or begin to support your actual business. And it goes back to the same principles you had when you were creating HTML websites. It was, we broke it down into categories for them that they're posting on. Some people, when they get their Instagram, they don't really utilize it, especially for their gym, as a marketing tool. It's more or less a boasting for their own personal self. And what you have to realize, when that person's coming to you or you're trying to grasp that person, they don't really give a shit about you when they don't know you. They're more interested in what you could do for them. And you got to always remember that. So yes, while there is a touch of influence, meaning you parading around yourself, you also need to break them down into categories such as motivational, such as informational, again, educating them. So if you're posting, if you're a local gym and or a local personal trainer and you're just constantly giving value, these people will follow you and then be interested in it. And then you're able to give them touches of influence. Now they're going to get bought into what you are. But if you're around there parading around with your shirt off and blasting up so much about your degrees and certifications you got, that really doesn't mean much to them, right? Because they're looking for results. They're looking for 30 pounds to lose or you know, muscle to gain or to get stronger. So you got to kind of break down your categories when you're producing content on these platforms, whether it be Facebook or Instagram. And the ones that we like to break them down to, like I just said, informational, motivational, and influential. And if you can kind of rotate between those three and really focus really hard on the informational ones you get, you can start to build a following, and then especially in your local area, especially through tactics of following people and just liking and shouting out your local businesses. And as you do that, what you'll start to see is these people will start to pay attention, they'll start to watch, and they'll want to start to come in, especially if you have call to actions on your Instagram.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. A big part of, one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make with social media in general is that they attached, once again, to the imagery of things and not to the process of things. And so putting up a good image that gets a lot of attention is great, but what are you asking people to do that's associated with doing business with you? So it's a matter of, getting people's attention, but always call to action. And as far as building a business Instagram, a Strength Camp ambassador Instagram, which is what we're helping our guys do, in the link in the bio is always 2-week free trial. That way every post you can put link in bio, 2 free weeks.
Exactly.
You're not really looking for anything else there. You've got to separate, and I know it's difficult because a lot of you watch me. You got to separate your personal brand from your business.
100%. And that's why most of our guys have to, and we explain exactly what to do with their business. Yeah, so moving on, I guess the next category would be offline. Offline is one of those that it's kind of people can consider it, some of the methods prehistoric, but to me it's one of my favorite. And I believe starting off, I believe you should really, if you're opening a gym, and this is just a method we went, so maybe I'm wrong for this, but I saw you do a lot of offline methods, and I saw myself, hell, I didn't have any money to pay ads. There was no Facebook for me to, there was Facebook, but there was no Facebook paid advertisements for me to be able to run and create a funnel like this. It became a lot harder, and I had to get out there and beat the pavement. So I always say, and I've said this to even the first show, I said, if you can go out, meet somebody, because remember, you're a walking billboard for your business. As soon as you open your business, you're a walking billboard. What I mean by that is everybody that you come in contact with, it should spill out of you so much that you're constantly selling and marketing what you have, because you know your worth, you know the product or the service that you're providing, and you would want everybody to have it. If I'm an amazing coach, right, and when I was in the beginning, especially when I was going out to these football games and talking to kids, I just wanted to help them so much. You know what I mean? Everything that did, when I talked to parents, get them in. It wasn't a matter of dollar signs for me. It was a matter of genuinely wanting to help. And through that, it started to build that. And beyond that, if you could do the age-old method of going out, meeting somebody in person, collecting either their name, phone number, asking for that, to follow up with them, and then setting up a session and then selling them into your training, like I always say, all this, Instagram could crumble tomorrow, Facebook could crumble tomorrow, but you're always going to have and be able to have a business. A lot of these guys get started on the internet, and when that pivots or shifts, they don't really know what to do. They either got to, hopefully they're successful enough where they can keep up with the Joneses, or they start to crumble, right? And I think having that under your belt of being able to go out and get clients face to face, or being a walking billboard, or being personable with somebody and selling your business is one of those things that every entrepreneur must do to start off.
Yeah, and you nailed it when you talk about being it rather than trying to do it. When we're trying to do something, we're outcome oriented, we're result oriented. And look, that's the world we live in. Nobody is of any value except for how many tax dollars they could bring in, right? So that means make more money. We're always looking at the bottom line. But when you're being it, you don't have to worry about that because it oozes out of you. When I walk into a room, people already begin asking me about fitness. You see what I'm saying? They should be flocking towards you because you exude the confidence in yourself and the service that you're going to provide, that you don't have to go out to them. They're attracted to you. You'll see this. You'll see this when you begin being it.
Absolutely. And some of the methods that we discussed with some of the guys was a couple systems that we've set up. We have some really tight systems for each person to be able to operate in. We talk about business of the month and how you should be, you know, buying. Anytime you're opening your local business within your community or your city, obviously there's a proper way to network, we believe, and there's an exchange or co-advertisement that you can have with each business. And like you said, just how you're showing up within that. You know, when I go purchase from the local coffee shop, I'm able to talk to the guy, I'm able to say to it, and now he comes into the gym.
They ask, because you're walking in there with a shirt that says Shrunk Camp every day. They want to know what's going on.
Exactly.
They're curious.
Exactly. Other ways is you just being able to set up certain things where you can give value to people or their clientele. You can set up staff group workouts, so we can go to a local business, which we've done before, talk to the manager or the owner, mention to him, hey, you know, we'll run a team building workout for you. We'll set a specific time on the weekend for you to come around and build camaraderie within your people. It'll be challenging, it'll be fun. And then you can pitch them as a group at the end. Hey, if you guys are interested, we're running a 2-week trial or whatever that might be. And then all of a sudden you get, you know, a workout of 50 people, and 10 people say, I'm interested in the trial. Right there, that's leads right there. And then finally, one of our methods is just, like I said, the roll up your sleeve, blanket the city, just going out and kind of like a street team force. You know, anytime you're opening up and this is one, to me, is one of those things where you can always go back to. You can always go back to. In fact, two months out of the year, we'll focus on some of our guys, especially if they've just came on. You know, I want to see them get out into the city. I want to see them get out in front of your shopping malls or in front of, you know, your busy high foot traffic areas like downtown, and be able to get out there and just simply be able to be personable and educate people and, you know, invite people into our gym. Just that alone has been able to bring in quite a few. In fact, that's how we started off and got our first 30 roughly. So it's just a matter of, you know, I always ask, you know, when guys say they never have an abundance of leads, I always question their efforts as opposed to their tactics, because it's if you're personable, if you're, you know, if you know your worth, it to me is extremely easy to get leads in the offline source. So yeah. And then moving on, do you have anything else as far as offline?
No, I was just thinking about myself when you were telling those stories about how I spent a lot of time out in the city trying to get people to come in. And one of the things that people really struggle with is motivation. It's a strange thing, you know, especially entrepreneurs that have no motivation. They have a vision for what they want. They even have a plan for what they want. They may even get support for what they want. But the motivation to do the thing that they're afraid to do is usually what they bump up against. And for me, there was no greater motivation than the fear associated with failing, not being able to provide for my family. So a lot of times I ask the guys that aren't being able to succeed, well, what do you have to lose? They really have nothing to lose. So you know what? Get something to lose. Find something that you can lose that will put a fire under your ass. So, for example, maybe go into debt. I was $90,000 in debt and growing a family. Part of the reason why I was successful is because I was carrying that fucking load, because that fire was under my ass. Go and do something dangerous, like I say in my videos. Make yourself vulnerable, because in that vulnerability, you have the back against the wall. You have no other place to go but forward. You gotta fight and claw and scratch, just like you got your back against the wall with a dog barking in your face. What are you gonna do? Cower and sink into the wall, let the dog eat you? Or you're gonna find a way around it, you're gonna find a way through it, you're gonna destroy that thing. And that is a fire under your ass that will help you succeed in no matter what you do. Be dangerous.
Absolutely. And we always say this, most of the guys that we've worked with, works with us, or we've seen become successful has found a way, even if they come with a silver spoon, have found a way to put their back up against the wall and figure something out. You know what I mean? And I know one of the biggest blessings that you were able to give me is when I was starting my training business, even from the very beginning, I'll never forget I had $2,200 to come up with that month. And I think it was the third day of that month when I graduated. And I'm like, I mean, I don't get money from my parents or anything like that. And you were successful at the time. I saw what you were doing. I came into it, and one of the best things that you did for me was you didn't inhibit my growth by saying, oh, let me just find something that you could do for that kind of money. You saw me really taking initiative and being independent and saying, I'm gonna figure this out. So I went around and I literally took the little bit of money I had, I invested it in getting some flyers printed for a summer special, and they were on these highlighter paper. And I remember going to Kinko's and I could fit 10 strips or maybe a little bit less on each one, but basically it just said, you know, had the training name, had my number, had a call to action, and had summer special. For 3 months I was giving away for next to nothing. But I had to, you know, go ahead and beat the pavement, like I said, go out there, and I was literally dropping these little flyers on every single car windshield that I could find. It was just, I was one of those where I had to figure it out, right? It probably wasn't the best method. I probably pissed a lot of people off, but I signed 4 people up from that on the summer specials, and I was able to pay my bills that month. And obviously the next month it was something else to take care of. But for that month alone, I just remember distinctly, I just remember looking back hindsight and just saying, you know, it's easy sometimes you could get very resentful or judgmental, but after hindsight you always learn the lesson. And I think to me it was one of those where I was able to learn the lesson after, and I was so grateful for it. And then to me, that was one of those moments, pivotal moments in my life as an entrepreneur, to say, no matter what happens, you could take me out of all this right now, right? You could put me somewhere and I'm gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? And I think that's, you know, giving that to somebody and not letting them go through that process of paying their dues is one of the worst things that you could do. You know, so I'm very appreciative of that, and I'm very, and still to this day, I remember that moment vividly, so.
Hey, if you didn't get it done, you were gonna die. You're gonna have that debt looming over you. You're gonna have that fear. Whatever it is that you fear, let that be your motivation. If you fear nothing, find something that's gonna make you fear. They say do or die. A lot of you guys, there's all these motivational quotes and shit, and Instagram memes, do or die, this idea of do or die. But really, it's not fucking do or die. It's do or I'm gonna be upset and pout. Do or die means you got something on the line. Put your ass on the line. There's no 100%. Other way to succeed, baby.
I like that.
No easier way to succeed.
Absolutely. And you know, finishing off, we have our last pillar, which is in-house. And this all pertains to getting leads from referrals from your community. I think this is one of our biggest, this is one of my favorites. Reason being is because this is a direct reflection of the community and the sense of camaraderie that you've built within. So we have a couple different methods that we do, and obviously there's a couple ways that we stimulate our guys, but purely based off our clients being raving fans of what we do and the sense that they get within our gym, they want to express and talk about our gym, and that just constantly brings more people in. Now obviously we incentivize that. We've created, you've started off, I don't know why this is so simplistic, but it's the most magical tool that seems to be in the gym business, but it's rewarding them with just a crisp $100 bill. Even though the membership is more, people just want a crisp $100 bill. And when they bring somebody in and they sign up, that's what we give them. So we let them know that. But beyond that, we have so many people that want to, that bring people in just through, you know, means of shouting out our gym or what they're doing in our gym or their progress through their social media outlets. And it's such an amazing thing because, like I said, it is a direct reflection of the strong community that we've been able to build in the area.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to get more clients. A lot of times we look outside of what we already have. And this is sort of a mindset shift, in that instead of always looking out extroverted, I gotta get more websites, I gotta get more posts out, I gotta get more clients from outside, turn in. Look at the internal resources. I say this, of course, spiritually, you know, your own powerful internal resources, but whatever happens in the mind happens in the body. Whatever's happening up below, up top happens down below. So it's the same with your business. It's the same with your gym. If you're constantly looking out and not taking advantage of the resources that are available to you in your gym, you're missing your most powerful assets. Deal with the people you already have by giving them the best service, developing the community, and then resourcing through them to get more people to come in.
Absolutely.
You had some beautiful things to say yesterday or the other day when we were talking about that, about merely asking them to share their friend's phone number. Hey, do you have a friend that's struggling with weight, is having a hard time? Yeah, my friend Sally, she's been struggling with weight for a while, but I can't get her to come in. Give her my phone number, I'm gonna give her a call.
Exactly.
Call Sally up and say, hey, Joan said that you might be interested in exercising. You know, she's gonna be a little worried right there, but you got her on the line and you just make an offer she can't refuse. Hey, why don't you come in for just a free trial workout? If you like it, you know, you're there with your friends, stick around for a few workouts. There's no risk on your part. If you like what's happening and you like what we're doing, then you can stick around. It's very friendly. It's just being friendly.
Absolutely. And we even make it a point within our gym because sometimes here's the thing, majority of the most simplistic things that people are like, yeah, that's common sense. We've created systems around that just work like clockwork. And some people, I believe, try to overcomplicate this process. We try to educate that it's who you are. And that's why 75%, and actually for us, it's about 90% marketing and then 10% sale. Because it's who we are. People just end up wanting to buy. We're not sitting here and it's not 10% marketing and then the whole thing is about how to sell, give me your money. That's when you start to get into the icky kind of car salesman's kind of weird, you know. And I remember a lot of guys like that were LA Fitness were like that. Ours is who we are, who we're showing up to be. One of us, for as far as referrals, is just simply asking and how to ask.
You tell your friends to get with my friends. We could be friends. We could do this every weekend. We could do this every day at 6 a.m.
For sure. But that's pretty much all I got for the 3. Do you have anything else?
No, I just want to give a big shout out to our Strength Camp ambassadors that are here slaving away this week at learning. They're really just getting a fire hose in the mouth with the amount of content we're trying to support them with and experiences we're trying to support them with, so they go back home and let the process unfold, right? Really, we're just giving that momentum that'll allow these guys to get out there and be successful, and that is our number one objective, is to make gym owners successful, particularly Strength Camp, because we know our vision, we know our mission, and we know that the world is growing stronger because of us. Done.